the depression of the economy there in during the 1940s, during the 1930s, the depression was generally thought of as a depressed economy. But I tend to think of it as it was the depression of the people as well as the economy. One affected the other. And someone was asking me about the difference, when I claimed to know the difference of the areas where in Belfast when I was growing up. I said that I replied that it was the children. In the poor neighbourhood, the children always found something to laugh about. This is ironic, but I could tell when I went from one ear to, according to the way I heard the children laughing. And when you left the poor neighbourhood and travelled through what was the middle class, upper middle class there, they always looked so solemn. They looked as if a smile was, or a laugh was something undesirable. There must have been something wrong if you were laughing or smiling or giggling or whatever. And I don't know why I paid so much attention to that, but as I went, and I worked for a while as a delivery boy, and I could almost tell what part of the city I was delivering in by the sight and sound of the children. And the charities did as much as they could at that time there for it. You had the Catholic charities that tried, we didn't have any Jewish people around, so it was the Catholic charities and the Protestant, mostly the Salvation Army. And they didn't distinguish so much as regards religion, but if you were a stranger attending a Salvation Army, going to a Salvation Army, hoping for free food or whatever at all, the frowns you got from the regulars there showed that they wanted to know who you were, where you came from, what part of the city you lived in, and in part of the city give away your religion, because the city was divided into ghettos, Protestant and Catholic ghettos. But all the Salvation Army places were underfunded, overcrowded, and they never got the help that they deserved to keep people in frame of mind. Now, I remember that I used to go to church on a Sunday night. On a Tuesday night, I used to go to church. My mother insisted on it. And it was men's night at the church. And at one time I was a monitor in church, sort of looking after a motley crew. The one thing that you never saw in church was a smile. There was so much gloom in that church that it would have depressed the cheeriest person going in, because 9 out of 10 of those men were unemployed. And while the priest was trying to give us instruction on religion or so, I believe that the thought in every man's head was not salvation. The thought of every man in that church there was, what will we do tomorrow? What will we do next week? The youngest is coming down with sickness, and the oldest boy is hanging out at the bed bunch because he's not employed in any way at all. There's dozens of reasons why the men should be depressed, and when it all boiled down to, in my case, it all boiled down to the fact that out of our neighbourhood, the younger teenagers, the older teenagers were all leaving home, hearth and home, they were leaving home to seek employment in England, and I was one of them.